You know, it takes hard work to become a tournament winner. Maybe a little evil, perhaps? Those are the questions implied to Goku's character in this episode of Dragon Ball Super, episode 81. These exhibition matches have been pretty entertaining up to this point, but it's time for the very final one. Goku versus Bergamo. And I have to say, you gotta give it to Bergamo. He definitely knows how to work a crowd. Because before the match even begins, Bergamo starts pleading with Zeno himself of getting rid of the clause of the universes being erased out of existence if he can defeat Goku. On top of that, he also starts to paint Goku as a villain, since he's the one who suggested the tournament idea in the first place that is putting all the universes at stake. Of course, putting the blame on his shoulders for why the universes are even at stake in the first place. I gotta say, that's a pretty good move by Bergamo, turning the audience, the gods no less, against your opponent. So in terms of manipulation and cunning, Bergamo gets an A+. The gods, on the other hand, I have to say they get a D. To me, it seems strange that they accept Bergamo's narrative too easily and that they don't critically think about the situation that they're in. First of all, didn't Zeno already say that he was planning to erase these universes anyway, and that this tournament is really an excuse to do it in a certain way? Now, I don't want to get into a deep discussion about this because this is just a review, but essentially what Goku did was give the lower-ranked universes a chance to exist. Because before, Zeno was just going to erase them, Goku inadvertently gave them a chance to exist by at least succeeding in this tournament. That is something that I was hoping the gods would realize themselves, or maybe the gods just really don't think things through. Maybe they're just stupid. Which honestly, if this is Dragon Ball, so you know what? In a way, that is believable. In any other series, it would be totally ridiculous for the gods, gods to be so... to completely absorb narratives and completely lack perspective. But this is Dragon Ball, of course. Bergamo's request is accepted by Zeno. However, Goku is warned that if he holds back in this fight, that Zeno will immediately erase all the universes right then and there. Speaking of Goku, I feel that Goku is a little bit too nonchalant here about the lives and of, probably trillions, if not more, lives at stake with these universes and the universes themselves. I mean, I hesitate to say that Goku is out of character because I don't think he is. I know other people have been claiming that throughout Super has treated Goku slightly differently than in other material like in Z or in the manga. And I agree only to a very minor extent. To such a minor extent that it's irrelevant. So I don't want to go on this bandwagon, but I do feel that in this episode, when Bergamo was talking about how the universes were going to be erased, how all this was at stake, and Goku just says he doesn't care, that honestly seems like a very un-Goku thing to say. Goku is not a heartless bastard. I mean, he is a selfish guy and he does put a lot of investment into his fighting skills, but he is not someone who doesn't care for others or, disregards the well-being of the, millions of people or the entire and all of humanity for that matter. He sacrificed himself for all of humanity 2 times arguably, but definitely the once explicitly when he did it against Cell. He completely and selflessly sacrificed himself for the sake of everyone on the planet. That's Goku. Yes, fighting might take precedence in his life sometimes, but he's not heartless. And I felt that he was a little too nonchalant, too uncaring in his words there. And I don't know, maybe I'm putting too much stock into it. It was a short little exchange, but it did seem weird. and out of place for me. Nevertheless, the fight with Bergamo and Goku gets started off, and it's absolutely great. We get nice little exchanges, and through these exchanges, we learn what Bergamo's special technique is. Apparently, he can absorb his opponent's energy, I guess through physical contact or something, or like the physical force of someone's blow, increase his own strength and power, and also increase his size. You know, similar to Demon King Piccolo, which is exactly what I thought when I was seeing this fight. And as the fight continues to go on, Bergamo does progressively get larger and larger, and to the surprise of everyone else, Goku doesn't seem to mind this at all. Going Super Saiyan, and Bergamo continue to absorb his blows, and Goku just keeps taking it further and further, not seeming to worry about Bergamo's increasing strength, eventually going Super Saiyan Blue, which stuns all the gods in attendance. And Goku didn't just stop there, he went Kaioken on top of that transformation. I knew what time it was. I knew that the fight was coming to an end, because I was pretty sure Bergamo was not going to last very long against that. And so the final struggle was Goku using his Kamehameha and Bergamo using his own technique, the Wolfgang Penetrator. We get a classic beam struggle, which is absolutely accentuated by all the debris and the energy beams colliding against each other. It was a nice light show. Goku vanquishes the Universe 9 warrior, and Zeno is pleased. The Grand Priest then proceeds to tell us the rules of the upcoming tournament, and boy are they a doozy. He tells us usual rules like being knocked out the ring will be considered a loss, no weapons, and no killing. Which, honestly, I will say this right here. Why is it that killing is off the table? I mean, the losers are going to be killed anyway. In fact, you can say even worse than killed, because you can argue that being erased means that you might not even have an afterlife. I'm pretty sure it means you're not going to have an afterlife. So why is it doesn't make any sense why killing is off the table in a tournament where the loser is going to be killed anyway. That doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. The interesting rules about this tournament is that it's completely unique nature. It's going to be one 48-minute match with all the fighters from all the universes competing at the exact same time. Essentially, it's going to be a complete battle royal type of a match. 80 fighters. And that could be easily a big clusterfuck, because I'm thinking right now, how are you going to structure that in, it's going to be very interesting, because you know what, I am glad that they're doing this bold of a move, because trying to convey this in like episode format and in anime format, I mean, I think it's easier in a manga or a comic to convey this kind of thing, but in, you know, animation, you're gonna have 80 fighters in an arena duking it out, and you're somehow gonna have to, you know, follow it up somehow and keep track of everything. So the logistics are gonna be crazy, but you know what? It had to be done, because if you think about it, we've had a couple tournament arcs already in the past, okay? And imagine if this tournament was just the same vanilla tournament that we've always seen before. It kind of loses, you know, even though I still think it would be interesting, because it'd be, you know, fighters from across the universes. Not only would the vanilla format take forever, I mean, we're having 80 fighters here. It's also not as interesting because we've seen it before. So obviously taking a completely different approach and a completely different structure is, you know, it's new, it's intriguing, and we'll see if it actually works. Who knows? We'll see if it pulls off, but you know what? It takes some balls for Super to go that different. And honestly, they had to do something different, I felt, if they wanted to keep it interesting. Especially with doing all these tournament arcs, but you know what? I'm looking forward to how they're gonna pull this off. The episode doesn't end there though, because the cloaked figure steps down onto the ring and challenges Goku to a fight, and that cloaked figure, of course, is Toppo. Something that I think that if you've been following the news and leaks and all that stuff lately, you would have known already. But whatever, I mean, if you didn't know, he is the leader of the Pride Troopers and seems to be very attached to justice. He challenges Goku to a fight to see if he is evil, and he says that through the fight, I guess, that his evil intentions will show if he is indeed evil. Which honestly was a big surprise, because I honestly thought that after this fight, if you really think about it, I thought that after, you know, the last fight of this whole exhibition thing, that would be the end of it and we would start setting up for the real tournament. We're gonna get an extra fight here, and hopefully they're as good as the previous ones that we have seen before. But anyway, guys, that's my review of this episode. If you enjoyed this episode review, please subscribe to the channel, because I will be bringing you more videos like this one. And until next time, beautiful friends, Blackenfist, and I will see you again.